Hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes, and this is a daily brief. The war is still pretty hot. 1,030 Russians off the battlefield, 11 tanks. But what we didn't see is any movement with the boats and warships. Like we know that things have been attacked, but they haven't counted these attacked ships over the last few days. Russia attacks Ukraine with 13 drones. 10 apparently were shot down. That means 3 got through. But 13 is severely less than what they've been pummeling Ukraine with in recent days. Meanwhile, Ukrainians are adapting. Ukraine's Kharkiv moves classrooms underground so the kids can survive Russian attacks. This is a classroom in a subway station. And 7-year-old kid says it's under the street in a classroom built into a subway station 32 feet below ground. You can't hear bad noises here. Like, how miserable is that that's what's going on? Okay. The Russians are also adapting. The Russians are adapting by using glide bombs, and they've been doing this now for about a month, maybe some longer, but really ramping this up over the last month, and they're doing it for a reason. Russia has increasingly relied on glide bomb strikes to hammer Ukrainian defenses while keeping attacked aircraft mostly out of harm's way. If they get a little bit too close, they run the risk of being shot down. It's a devastating tactic that underscores Russia's ability to adapt to some of the problems that have hamstrung its forces, and one that's helped Moscow secure recent battlefield victories. If you don't think that Russia's adapting, they are. Don't just look at your enemy and think, well, they must be an idiot. No, your enemy is not an idiot. And if you think that the enemy is an idiot, you're going to find out in short order that bad things can happen. So, for example, they're dealing with Krinkney by doing this. This was today's intelligence update from the British. On 20 March 2024, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu announced the formation of the Dnipro River Flotilla and Boat Brigade. This new formation will likely be responsible for securing the Dnipro waterways and islands that separate Russia and Ukrainian-controlled Kherson. Russia likely wants to prevent and deny Ukrainian cross-river operations, such as the operation to establish and maintain the Krinkney bridgehead. So they're adapting, they're figuring it out, and they're working at it. So you can't just write them off. And at the same time, I think the Russians are getting the short end of the stick, but they can afford to get the short end of the stick and just keep coming. These meat wave attacks, like, look, this is Andrew Perpetua's. Here are the losses he could identify for today, and he was showing what all the losses were. Red is Russian, blue is Ukrainian, and yeah, I mean but they can keep coming. It's going to be like this too. So this is the Carnegie Endowment. Delays in lethal aid are having negative impacts on the battlefield in Ukraine. And until they actually get the artillery to be able to push back, it's going to continue to look like this. Like the Russians just want to keep going. They're going to keep swarming westward until they can't swarm westward anymore. Now, how are they doing it? Well, they've been doing it with what they fight with what they have. And so if they have human beings, they'll do meat wave attacks. If they have bombs, they turn them into glide bombs. We're a lawful state. This is relatives of those who have been killed in these meat wave attacks, brought out of jail. If you survive, you get your clemency. If not, oh well. We are a lawful state, and we want laws to apply equally to everyone. Relatives of Russian convicts used in meat assaults are demanding Putin to explain why their family members are not insured despite orders by Ministry of Defense and government, resulting in tens of thousands of ex-convicts not getting paid any money for injuries or deaths. Official departments tell them, you went there to get clemency, that's the best you can get if you survive. So how about that? Yeah. In other news in Russia, anti-migrant police raids in Russia. Now, this is just sparked from the Moscow Crocus City Hall bombing. Anti-migrant police raids in Russia. Police are checking documents of all migrant workers at the Wildberries warehouse near Moscow. Witnesses state that those migrants who resist the searches are being beaten. So there's all kinds of upheaval there. Okay, that's pretty much the news right now. Last thing I want to show you is just this little 3-minute clip of what the front line looks like. I grabbed it from a Greg Terry video, with permission, that's fine, just to show you the enormity of what that's like. Please go look at that. It's only 3 minutes, and it'll just give you a much better perspective of how the front line works, what it's like to get soldiers evacuated, and that sort of thing. Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the coffees. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.